Well, as you know, the figures for the April Consumer Price Index, or CPI, which you know as inflation, came out. The revelations within them prove President Trump's strategies are working so far. The latest report from the White House highlights the decrease in the price of consumer goods, including gas prices, which have seen a decrease for the third month in a row, about 7%, along with groceries, such as eggs, seeing a 15% drop. What's more is that the wages of Americans have seen a 1.9% increase, further proving that President Trump's methods are producing some results thus far. The White House has noted these figures as being a 4-year low on inflation. They've also mentioned Americans seeing relief in President Trump's economy despite the concern over tariffs. Here to talk with me about this is a financial advisor for the IMG Financial Group, Nick Baker. Nick, nice to see you here today. How do your customers like it?
Yeah, it's the art of the deal, right? You know, what's most interesting, though, is that whether you voted for Donald Trump or not, and the data backs this up, Democrats, Republicans, it was a good buying opportunity, really, in the last few months. You can see all the congressmen, congressional, all their trades. They were buying up at this opportunity to buy things at a discounted price. But as you mentioned, things are back and roaring again. And I think everybody's really excited. And like I said, this is the art of the deal playing out right in front of our eyes.
You know, the Dow's above 42,000, the NASDAQ above 19,000, the S&P at almost 6,000. Just a couple of weeks ago, they were all parading around, they on the naysayer side of the aisle, saying it's going to be the worst April since 1932, death, destruction. Okay, well, that didn't happen. And in fact, right now, if I'm reading these charts right, I think we're back above where we were on November 5th, 2024, Election Day. Right or wrong?
Correct. Yeah. You know, what's interesting is that, and I tell our customers, clients this all the time, the media, the legacy media, they have to fill up the time and the words and the magazines and the newspapers with news. So a lot of times it's just fear is what sells, right? So if you can ignore a lot of the hysteria and remain the course, it really ends up well for people. But yeah, it's kind of funny to see a bunch of people eat crow, especially when this is pretty much exactly what we were promised.
Yeah, and in fact, gold is off about 10% here the last a week or so. That's an indication of things stabilizing. As far as I can tell, gold is below 3,200. It was at almost 3,500 here just a few days ago, Nick. What do you make of the land as you look forward? We've got a deal in place temporarily with China, a deal with the UK, the EU not too far away. We've got some things that are playing out as we would hope. So as you look down, 3 months, 6 months toward the back end of this year, what are you sensing?
Yeah, we're extremely optimistic, especially when you see these deals kind of playing out again. Like I said, exactly as we were promised. This is the art of the deal. Is we're getting ripped off by a number of other countries. China is the number one offender, right? And so when we see these kind of things really work in our favor, you've got the tariffs go down from 145% to 30%, and then China reduces theirs from 125 to 10%. I'm not always the smartest person in the room, but China was operating at a trade surplus to the tune of about $100 billion with us. We were at a trade deficit. I would much rather, and I think most of us would rather be in a surplus rather than a deficit. So we're well on our way to making that happen, which is really just a rising tide is going to lift all boats.
There you go, Nick, and let's hope that we get to surf all the way in. Nick Baker from the IMG Financial Group. Thank you, Nick.
Thanks for having me.
Greatly appreciate it. All right, so this July, there's a global summit of BRICS nations in Rio. The bloc of emerging superpowers, including China, Russia, India, and Iran, are meeting with the goal of displacing the U.S. dollar as the global currency. They're calling this the Rio Reset. BRICS nations are pushing forward with their plan to get rid of the American dollar. They think it will decrease, bringing down the value of the money that you have in your savings. Well, this won't transition overnight. The Rio Reset in July has the ability to pivot everything when BRICS nations try to get rid of the dollar and change your savings. Learn if diversifying your savings into gold is right for you now. Birch Gold Group can help you move your hard-earned savings into a tax-sheltered IRA and precious metals. Claim your free information kit on gold by texting America to 989898. With an A-plus rating at the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, let Birch Gold arm you with a free, no-obligation information kit on owning gold before July and that Rio Reset. Text America to 989898. Do that today. When we come back, Brian Glenn will join me from the White House with the latest what's going on there today. This is America's Voice Live.